When many of the cities in our region were founded, there wasn't a lot of thought in how our communities grew. They simply grew outward. But with the size of our population today, we'd have gridlock if it wasn't for a group of highly skilled professionals who make sure our transportation systems run smoothly. I'm State Senator Ed Hernandez. Today, countless hours are put into the planning of our communities, especially in how we move around the city. In this episode of Destination Forward, we talk with Sharon Neely and Darren Chitsey from the Southern California Association of Governments.
I'm Darren Chitsey with the Southern California Association of Governments. I'm the Director of Strategy, Policy, and Public Affairs.
The Southern California Association of Governments represents 6 counties and 191 cities in our region. One of their main responsibilities is planning how to use federal transportation dollars. I asked Darren to explain SCAG's role and challenges.
SCAG has various roles. At a federal level, we're designated the Metropolitan Planning Organization for all of Southern California. So what that means is we're required every 4 years to do what's called the Regional Transportation Plan. The Regional Transportation Plan includes all major transportation projects in Southern California that need federal funding. So a foundation of our Regional Transportation Plan is to get input from every city to look at 25 years out, what do you think your population is going to be like? What is your city going to look like? And then we can aggregate all that information, and that sets forth what we know population and employment is going to look like, so we can help plan the transportation investments around that.
And we know the region is growing. Over the next 25 years, we'll add 4 million people. That's the current population of Los Angeles. And it's important to note, our transportation systems serve more than just our citizens.
We actually ship goods from the ports of LA and Long Beach to 40% of the rest of the United States. So how do we mitigate the impacts to the local communities adjacent to the major freight corridors? And we've developed a project list that totals $66 billion worth of investment between now and 2035 that would mitigate the impacts to the cities, but as well be competitive to the rest of the world in terms of maintaining Southern California's international trade and competitiveness.
At any given moment, there are hundreds of construction and repair projects underway to improve regional transportation, and SCAG makes it a priority to include members of the community in all its long-range planning. And that's important because there is a serious funding challenge. Think about it. Much of our transportation funding comes from the federal gas tax. Hybrid and electric vehicles are great. But as their popularity grows, transportation funding is vanishing.
By 2025, we will have 80% less revenue being paid into the Federal Highway Trust Fund. So that means, how do we maintain our system, that we all enjoy and drive, including the alternative fueled vehicles that right now are not paying into the system?
Obviously, we use less gas. What's the next transition? How do you move from that to the consumer paying for it? And then if they do, and we move that direction, the consumer's not going to want to. They're going to say, I don't want to pay any more extra tax. How do we do that?
I think the first question is determining what's the best way to pay for that. And I think a lot of discussion has been focused around what's called the vehicle mile traveled fee. And this would be assessed for every mile traveled by the vehicle and could be paid either at the, annually with the vehicle registration fees, or in other states such as Oregon, they're looking at actually collecting that information on a real-time basis. So the vehicle mile traveled fee is something that certainly is gaining some thought and some discussion nationally. Is actually part of SCAG's Regional Transportation Plan Sustainable Community Strategy starting in 2025. And this would replace the gas tax. It wouldn't be an additional tax. It would be something that would be more of a direct link between how often do you drive, how often do you use the roads, and how are you going to go about funding them in the future.
We know keeping our streets and highways in good shape is a must. But there's another reason transportation planning is critically important.
We recently did a study looking at what are the economic benefits of investing in transportation. We actually were able to show over time, when you reduce congestion, when you have greater mobility, that businesses are able to get their work done faster and then create more jobs and hire more people. And upwards of nearly 350,000 new jobs a year could be created by implementing and building all the projects that are in our regional transportation plan and sustainable community strategy. So the nexus between investing in infrastructure and economic competitiveness is very critical and very close.
Independent studies have shown every dollar we invest in transportation infrastructure yields a $2.90 return, which could be just what we need to secure our transportation systems and our economy for the years to come. I want to thank Southern California Association of Governments, especially Sharon Neely and Darren Chitsey. Growth in California isn't slowing down, so as our cities continue to grow, it's crucial that we plan in a way that's smart and efficient. To learn more, visit sen.ca.gov/Hernandez. I'm State Senator Ed Hernandez. Thanks for watching.